The Watchers. Okay, now, this is the spoiler review for The Watchers. Now, so if you have not seen this movie, I'm going to be spoiling it. But if you do not want a spoiler version of it, I did a non-spoiler one. I did a non-spoiler one, which, link will be in the description. So, okay, so I'm going to start spoiling this movie in 3, 2, 1. All right, you messed up if you stayed. Of course, there's always that one person that, is hanging on just to possibly complain, but we're just going to move on for the sake of that. Okay, so in my initial review for the movie, this movie was absolutely jumbled. Like, it set things up, and then it doesn't know how to pay it off, so they just put in some stupid explanation, or they just don't explain it at all. So, I'm going to be talking about, the twists and stuff like that, but then also, what these things are. And if you haven't seen my my non-spoiler one, I gave this a very, it's a low fine, but it's, teetering on the edge of terrible. Because this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, you find out that these Watchers, you find out that it's actually a indigenous race of these ancient fairies that can, there was a certain name for it, but they're basically if Slenderman had the power to shapeshift. That is basically what these things are. And it's oh, okay, all right. You could have just said they were shapeshifters. You didn't need to actually give us a whole history lesson and try to make this worse, but they do. So you find out that these are basically shapeshifters, and that at night they have to stand in front of this giant mirror so that way these Watchers can study them and look like them, so then when they go off into civilization, they can look like them. Okay, but here's a big fault in that plan. It's implied that there is no way to escape. There's just absolutely no way to escape. I mean, even beginning of the movie, when Dakota Fanning enters the woods, her car breaks down. She leaves her car, and her car breaks down, and she leaves her car, and then she then walks away for a little bit, and then explores more, and then gets lost, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna head back to the car, but then all of a sudden the car is gone. So it's okay. So it's implied, and then even earlier in the movie, there's the opening scene where you see a guy running from a he starts off at a sign and then just starts running and then approaches a sign, and it's the same exact sign. So you're thinking okay, so there's no way out. So it's this woods is it's either a cycle or it's messing with them, so you just don't know. So that adds to the mystery of it. But then, when you look at it, the woods, it tries to give them hallucinations, and there's no purpose to it. There's absolutely no purpose to it. It's just we should probably, let's just throw this in here. Not realizing that it doesn't make any sense and does not add anything to the plot. Then it doesn't make a lot of sense. So even if these fairies or shapeshifters wanted to do this, there's they then find a way out at the end of the movie, or in the end of the second act, and it's pretty much wow, that's a 1 in 100 chance that you're gonna find that. It's wow, okay. But then the big plot twist is revealed, and I went, that's really stupid. You find out And it was also something I figured out early on. So you find the people in here, it's four people. Fanny is the one that just showed up, but it's her and three others. It was like an old woman, a young woman, and a young man. Now, they find a secret underground bunker, almost like a war bunker, or like a bomb shelter. I was trying to find the words. They find one, and what do? All they had to do to find it was move a piece of furniture. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. You know what? I'll just say it. They move the rug, and they see just like a big square hole, and they're like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Well, hold on. You've been," and they go to each one. They go like, "Oh, you've been here for 5 months. You've been here for 8 months. What? You never thought to move a piece of furniture like for 8 or 5 months? Are you kidding me? Are you that dumb?" So then you find out that the big it's a professor of university nearby that was the one that constructed the build for this, because his wife is actually the old woman that is in that bunker with them, but his wife died. So he found out about these fairies, kidnapped one, went there, built the house, kidnapped one, and then basically tried to force it to shapeshift into his deceased wife, which is just weird, dude. Like that's just weird. Okay. So then it does, and then it then kills the professor, but now it does not have a way out. So now it just waits for unsuspecting people to just show up, and then it can basically study them, to then when they eventually get out, they can just look like anybody. So then you get to the climax of the movie when Dakota Fanning's character shows up to one of the other characters that was there. You know what? I'll just say it. Her, the young woman who was, I can't remember her name, but she was the lead in Barbarian, and the old woman. Oh, I'm sorry, the Watcher. They, Fanny goes to Barbarian. I think it was Campbell. Goes to her house, but then finds out that the old woman has, disguised herself as her, and then a fight breaks out, and then just starts during this half fight, half chase, she just starts shapeshifting into every character that we've seen thus far, including Fanning, and then just says yeah, I'm gonna kill you, and then just live my life as you. And it's just what? Okay, why? Why? So then the big the thing at the end is Fanning says, "Oh, well, haven't you I know why you're like this." You find out that she can actually walk. She can actually go out in the day because she's a half human, half fairy, because it's revealed that humans and fairies actually, were together in civilization, and they actually mated, and she's one of the mated ones, known as I think it was a day watcher or day walker or something like that, and was basically castrated out because she was half human, when all the other fairies, they couldn't go out at night because they were just fairies. They didn't have any human DNA in them. So that's why she can go out in day and night. And I'm like, okay. So then she says you don't have to do this. There could potentially be more day watchers out there. Then all of a sudden she just sprouts wings like out of nowhere and then just flies away. I mean, it's like, what was that? That made absolutely no sense. Like, absolute no sense. Like, what was that? That was just ridiculous. So you're just so puzzled on what just happened. And, I'll even do you one better. Even the wiki doesn't know how to answer this. I mean, I'll say it. After escaping, Mina, who's Dakota Fanning's character, heads to the professor's university to destroy his notes. There she learns that humans and fairies once lived in harmony, with some even mating and producing hybrid offspring that could withstand daylight. So basically they pulled a Shadow over Innsmouth. And, like with that one, it was human and fish frog hybrids. This is basically human fairy hybrids. She visits Kira, who's Campbell's character, and shows her photographs, revealing that Madeline, the old lady, had been the professor's late wife. There, Madeline is the watcher that the professor kidnapped. Like what I said earlier, the professor kidnapped one and basically forced it to shapeshift into his deceased wife. Kara is revealed to be a disguised Madeline when the real Kara arrives at the house. Madeline changes her form, knocking out Kara and attacking Mina. She recounts that she was an outcast among the Watchers for her ability to walk during the day and plans to kill and replace Mina. Mina reveals Madeline's status as a half-human hybrid, pursuing her to let go of her hatred towards humans and telling her that there may be others like her out there. Madeline sprouts wings and departs. That's literally it. That's what it says. And then they say the very, very end. But at that point, you're just like so confused on what is happening that you're like, whoa. That just came out of nowhere. That makes absolutely no sense. And I had to talk about it. I really had to talk about it. But, I will repeat something I did say in my non-spoiler one. And that is, the reason why this got this slid on a fine is because the atmosphere was nice and creepy. The buildup was kind of cool. The setup was really cool. But other than that, this movie's just a hot mess. So, I mean, I don't know. This had so much potential, and then it just falls on its face and doesn't understand, how this works. And they just went, let's not try to fill in these holes. Let's just try to, we only have a little bit of filling. It's okay. It's like you're trying to, okay, let's say you're building a cake, with my non-spoiler, I talked about comparing this movie to a brand new car that's going to a car show. But in this case, it's like, all right, you're building a cake, but on the inside you want it to have like a cream filling. So you get vanilla. Let's just say vanilla. But then you don't have enough. So instead of trying to make more vanilla, you just see the chocolate one sitting right there and just go, just fill it. And it doesn't mix. While vanilla and chocolate do mix, in this case it does not. Because you're trying to throw stuff in that it's just not right. You went for a certain path, and then all of a sudden you're throwing all these different things at us and trying to make it stick, and it's not sticking. So it just does not make any logical sense. So yeah, so that's the Watchers. So yeah, I don't know, I was very much, this non-spoiler review was very much a debate with myself, going like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? And then eventually I just said, you know what, screw it. I need to talk about this. Like, cause this is just so like, what? Like, what? Now don't get me wrong. It's not like Madam Web, where it's just like, you have to see it to believe it. This is just like really? You guys just didn't do that? You guys just didn't take the time to plan this out, so you just threw all this stuff in here. Wow, no, this is terrible. So, yeah, like, go see The Watchers, go see it. Just, or don't. You know what, just don't.